All right. Do you remember Boondocks, right? I'm pretty sure everybody's seen Boondocks.
Mm-hmm.
And they had, I think it was, yeah, Delicious, and Riley wanted to be like when Delicious started wearing skirts and purse and whatnot, and showed right there, and I think that was like 2004. It showed right there like how the youth's minds can just look at it and say, "Oh, I want to be like this person," you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why my stepson, he's gonna make 21 in 2 days, but he was really into the little Uzi Vert guy, right? And so I saw it as being in the early, without me going on and on, but in the early stages of like Uzi Vert, I was just like, okay, okay. It was like a SoundCloud thing. And then we begin to do this, like evolve into whatever that is, he started to fall back from it. So, but I don't know what I'm saying with it. I just go on, Anton.
No, I was just saying that when I had my daughter, and she's 17 now, when I had my daughter, we were thinking about not having kids at all because we seen where this shit was going all the way back then. Like we was like, yo, this culture, this society, I don't really know if this is gonna be the most ideal
Right.
culture to raise a kid in. You know what I'm saying? And obviously we didn't know if we was gonna have a girl or a boy. But we was like, well, listen, if we're gonna have one, we gonna only, we're gonna put everything we can into her and make sure that she's separated from what is our cultural norm so that we can actually raise her in an ideal, an environment that's conducive for a child to be raised in. If I was to have a child today,
Mm.
um, unless I actually put my daughter or my son in a Christian school or something like that, completely separated, something, it would have to truly be a controlled environment. I don't think that I could have a kid today because like even if you look at like women's sports and stuff, not only do you have to sit here and deal with people that are advocating for men to be in women's sports, all of them chicks that be on the basketball team is fucking gay.
Yeah.
Real talk.
I heard
All
most
No,
of
these
them
they're
are,
chicks that's
yeah.
on the basketball team is gay. They straight
and
up
they're
gay.
But Anton, do you think that you should discourage our youth to not be like to not have kids? You know what I'm saying? Like because I feel like there's already such a fear in our society to not get married, to not have kids, to not have a nuclear family, to not embrace that format anymore. And I think it just makes it to where like having kids
I,
is like, not a
I'm
not a
I
good thing.
like I want the right people to have kids. I
Right.
think that
Mm-hmm.
I don't want everybody having kids. Real
Mm-hmm.
talk. Because y'all,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I think that it starts in the home. I think that you have too many single mothers because it's no balance in the house between the man and the woman, and half of the men are following the women. And you have these households where they basically subconsciously and consciously teaching their sons how to be women. We are raising a generation of people that don't even know what the fuck masculinity means.
Mhm.
They have no clue what it means to actually be a man at all.
If you
And
could
so
sum it up into something short, what would you call it? What would you say if you could say anything about masculinity? What would it be? What is being a man?
um if sum it up short,
Yeah, for the C students.
if I was to sum up what masculinity is, honestly, um suffering.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick a word, it would be suffering because we have to endure through things that y'all are privileged to be able to benefit from, but it takes a lot of us to sacrifice in order for y'all to get there. All of the shit that I see women talking about saying, oh, we so great, we this and we that, they got that on the backs of men.
Mhm.
Plenty of men
Yeah.
died to civilize this world, and so many people suffered to civilize this world that they then take credit for.
Mm-hmm.
And so being a man is honestly is suffering every day. And I'm gonna be 100% transparent. Before I jumped on the stream, um, I was talking to Rita because she just came in, and I said, "Man, I don't want to die. Like I don't want to have a heart attack because I be so fucking stressed all the time." And she was like, well, how do we solve for that? How do you deal with this? How do we get you to the point? And I said, honestly, it's the only question that I haven't been able to answer, because I know that everything I do is on the behalf and for the benefit of the people that surround me, including her and my daughter. So now my biggest thing, because I've been so programmed, because that's the way my family was, to drive, to go, to get it, to just make sure that you keep on doing it. It don't matter how you feel. You wake the fuck up, you go get that shit. We don't sit there and we go back and forth. So now my biggest battle within myself is trying to balance it, to figure out, how do I live as long as possible while at the same time maintaining what it is that I know that I got to do in order to keep pushing. And so that's the biggest dilemma of the people from where I was raised, in an environment that I was in. But now everybody is just like fluid. These motherfuckers, like, half the time you see people say they want a partner instead of wanting a husband or a wife. And I'm just telling you, being a man is suffering. You even have to suffer as a young guy to get to the point to where you know how to handle things, to where everybody is able to depend on you. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole nother, being a man and being masculine is one of the greatest. It's one of the greatest blessings that God can give you and can bestow upon you, but it's a whole lot of responsibility, and we don't teach that anymore. We only
Can I speak to that real quick, Antoine?
Yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
I got Anton. My bad, I ain't Antoine. Anton.
No, do your thing.
So I got a son, right? He's 9, and me and his mom have a good co-parenting relationship. We're not together. She had to move because her pops got a little older, and he wanted to be closer to where he's from in Missouri, and she's been up there. So usually it was where we were in the same vicinity. I'm in the Houston area, right outside Galveston, so we was able to do it a lot better than the past 2 years. But with him getting older, me and her just had to have certain conversations about exactly what you're talking about. So just to keep it quick, to give y'all an example of that, he's playing sports now. He was on the basketball team, and the basketball team just so happened to be good, right? So she's enjoying watching him play. He's scoring points, everything going good. He wants to play football. I play college football. I didn't really want him to play, but he's learning how to play. So I told her to put him in flag to start, because I know how it has to be, and I know he's not that good. I'm not going to let you get injured trying to go play tackle and stuff. You just need to learn to like the game and even show you want to play the game to go further with that sport. So to say, I'd rather you do baseball, track, or something else.
Yeah, you should understand your kid.
So he does flag, and she like, they lost the first 2 games by 30. I want them on the other team. The other team, they've been playing together. The coaches know what they're doing, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, that's cool, and I get it. But me personally, and I'm a trainer in the Houston area, and I train Division I kids. I got NFL guys that I train and all that. So I'm telling her, I'm not worried about none of that. I want him to lose. I want him to have to make his sorry teammates better. I want him to go home and think about what he could have did in the preparation of before you go out there and lose to the reason why you lose. Like, and that's the thing that parents have to get back to in general, males and females.
Life
You
lesson.
can't try to make a perfect and I tell my parents that I work with who have kids, you can't play God. You could try to put them in the best position possible that you see so fit that they're able to avoid certain stuff that we had to go through, right? But you're not going to be able to play God, quote unquote. You're not going to be able to make it perfect to where nothing's going to happen along the way, where everything going to go exactly how it's supposed to.
No. That's some real shit. Let me ask you a question. So what did she say?
At first, she was like, well, I just don't want him to fall behind of learning, not being around the other kids. But then once I reiterated the part of, if he don't end up what he's going to be if he want to play football and I'm working with him and I could get other people's kids to that, I'm going to be the person who say that's on me. He ain't going to have to feel like he didn't accomplish something because he wasn't good enough or didn't get invested in enough. So I told her, like, we don't need to worry about winning. And I think that's like kind of participation stuff. So to say, like, everything can't be about winning, because you have to learn how to lose to understand what it takes to win and why you win it, so to say.
But you know what's so funny about that, though? One thing that I fear for our boys, because a lot of them are being raised in a single parent household, like even the basic stuff, because like that's a basic principle that a man needs to learn to fail in a controlled environment. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to suffer, right? I look at a lot of these women and they raising their boys, they gentle parenting. They won't let their boy fall and they kissing their boo-boo and all of this stuff. And it's like, dog, do you know that you basically crippling that kid for life?
And it started as a
Right.
baby, like literally, like when they fall, okay, it's like, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's a give take to it where, okay, you understand that it's
Yeah,
molding you, so to say. I guarantee babies smart enough to where they're not going to keep falling. I got a baby right now. He
yeah,
failed a couple times, you know what I'm saying? We had to tighten up, but I'm saying in the sense of a baby just keep falling off the bed because they're going to understand. They don't want to. So I'm saying that to say a 7-year-old, a 11-year-old, an 18-year-old, gonna have to understand you're gonna hit your head unless you're gonna do what you're supposed to do, which you know what you're supposed to do at the end of the day.
You
Men gotta
blessed though,
understand
'cause
that.
you actually got a woman that'll listen to you, even though
Yeah,
you're not necessarily still with her.
yeah. That's a blessing. I tell her that same thing.
You know what else? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
What else too is, okay, so I made 38 Friday, right? So I was born in 87. When I was in elementary, grade school, we had field day. In field day, we had first place, second place, third place.
Mm.
Nowadays, they have participation trophies.
Oh yeah,
Right?
everybody
So-
wins.
Right. Everybody wins. And you're not like, and so when you're putting that child into the world with that, it taught me, like, first of all, you have to work hard to get what you want.
Mhm.
Second of all, you have to win every time. And you can't cry or boo about it. You have to get better, like work on it. And it gave you something to look at. But now, like with the participation trophies, it's just, it creates softness, you know? And so
That's
It creates
right.
entitlement. It creates entitlement too. People just think that they just
thank you.
because they tried, that they deserve a reward. No, just use it as a learning experience. Sometimes it's a learning experience. You don't have to be rewarded every time that you participate in something. I feel like the reward at times is what you learn from, participating, but
Yeah.
I definitely think that this,
I have I have a 3-month-old. I just had a 3-month-old. I have a 2-year. I'm a stay-at-home mom. And thank you. And I used to go to these play groups with other moms, and what I've learned is, as a parent, you have to choose black or white. And I think that we live where everybody thinks that you can balance on this tightrope and be able to give them a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But you really have to decide what you're going to be for your kids and make that the bottom line. And if you don't have a bottom line, your kids, I think we don't understand how smart children are, and they push that line and push that line and push that line. So I really I've seen the gentle parenting, and I've seen people try their best to make that effective. For me, I've just never seen it be effective. I've never seen a kid be able to emotionally regulate themselves without your correction, your intervention, exactly. Without the
Especially dealing with boys.
well, I feel like gentle parenting is only for certain situations. Like you can't apply that to every situation. Sometimes you gotta get a little more firm than gentle.
Yeah.
And a lot of times these kids don't be acting gentle. Okay, so I can't come at you gentle. So
And firm ain't always physical contact because, like with my son, he was doing a little something, and this when he was living down here, and it happened like in a 2-week span. It was like 4 or 5 things, right? So I gave him a whooping. Take him to jail if you had to. It happened in the past. Gave him a whooping. Then it got a little better. Something else happened, but I didn't want him to feel like just because you did a little better and I know you could do all the way good, you still not. Right. So then it happened again, straightens up. Full circle, the next week the same thing happened, and then I'm all like, I'm not going to be the military dad, so to say, where just because something goes wrong, I'm going to have to step in as enforcer, so to say. I want it to be, you understand you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do because that's what you were raised to do, and you should want to do what's right. I shouldn't have to beat you every time for you to want to do what's right. I don't want to be that guy. I've got to step in for that. I don't want our relationship to be that. But it got to the point where I was like, okay, wall sits, planks, lunges. And after that, because he was like 7, after them wall sits and them planks on that wood in the kitchen, I ain't have to hear nothing else after that. So that's why I'm saying it don't
Oh,
just have to be
listen,
where you whoop kids at the end of the day. It's just discipline, so to say.
if you was to ever talk about that, well, like, because I didn't see videos where, they had a kid doing that type of stuff or whatever. Oh man, the feminists in the comments go crazy over that shit.
Yeah.
They be pissed.
But they got to
do.
choose a way that weaker discipline of the world is,
It's
because it's not gonna
projection, man.
be.
It's
You know what I'm
projection.
saying? The
They
world
don't
gonna
want
discipline your
consequences
kid
for
if
their
you
own
don't.
actions. So they
Well,
feel
they
like
can't.
nobody
They
else
gotta
can have
let.
consequences.
They also gotta let dads be dads to a certain degree, and I feel like sometimes as moms, we have our way that we discipline. I'm a mom of. I have total of 4. I have a bonus baby, and I have 3 of my own. And I've had to learn. I've seen how me and my husband, how we discipline our kids were a little different. And he can raise his voice, and it's a done deal. Like he ain't got to, he ain't got to whoop them. He ain't got to do none of that. And it's just he keeps them in check. We just have different parenting styles, but I never intervene. When I see him check our kids, I let him have it. And the kids looking at me, y'all on your own, y'all on your own. And I just kind of, so and I've seen women interfere with fathers trying to parent their kids and trying to discipline their kids. And I just kind of think that's a little disrespectful. As long as they're not, verbally abusing them or like, physically abusing them, let that man, discipline his child and do what he need to do.
Well, I think that women are having kids with
Kudos to
men they
you.
don't trust. Women are having kids with men that they don't trust, and it's
That
just
part.
you're ignorant because
Mhm.
It even goes down to like small little sayings, right?
Mhm.
I've heard many times, I would never cook for a man that's not my husband, right? And then you hear that. Listen, but then you hear that, but then you'll sleep with them.
Yes.
And that's not your husband. You won't cook for
That's
him.
so
It's
backwards.
Yes. I said that don't make no sense. I said I will cook a man a meal. I will drop some money on him because that's nothing. We're both investing time and energy. I feel like that's an equal loss if it doesn't work out. And we can bow out gracefully. The last thing I'm gonna do is give you a baby because now I'm stuck with you. Because now we got to figure this out.
Yeah.
But
But
to
that's
I
me,
feel
because
like
it's
that's
not
a
really
wifely
about
duty.
trust.
women won't tell other women the reality is if a man values you, he'll marry you.
Correct.
And it's confusing. Well, I don't know. Well, we are in a situation shit. We sneaky linking. That's all fine and dandy. But if he's not willing to commit to you, he's not willing to have a vision with you, create a vision with you, then you
If
playing
it's
your
confusing, that man, you're dealing with a confused man. He don't know what he want to do.
Okay, so I think we talk about different scenarios and situations as far as like the family household where you have the marriage and then the children. They're seeing balance and the discipline, like you say, Tamara, how you fall back and you let your husband actually do that. So I guess maybe is a better question the household that doesn't have a man present or the woman who doesn't let the child's father, even if it's a co-parenting relationship, come in and discipline or even have any kind of masculine influence. Is that the household or the situation where we tend to see more of the feminization of the young man being more widely accepted?
yes.
How does that even work? Of a woman not letting you discipline your own kids? How does that work?
I don't know how it works,
Her
but it happens.
intervening, her disrespecting
Yeah,
you in front of your
disrupting
child, her getting in
or
between you and your son when you trying to
yep,
correct your son about something, her
yep.
challenging your authority in front of your kids, her keeping you away from your kids because they know how you gonna come about a certain situation, her not
Mm-hmm.
telling you what the teacher told them at school because they know how you gonna react to it.
Did you
I
go
don't.
through that?
The
Maybe.
I'm
same
about to
stuff
say,
we
you know, from
did.
personal
I
No,
got a
experience
book
The
because
on
he,
it.
same
he
no,
stuff
was
we
I'm
naming
did.
it.
I'm like,
I
what else?
never been in a relationship with a woman who had that much leverage or power over me at all. That sounds crazy, like not letting me do anything. Like like all my kids' teachers got my email. They communicate with me.
Well, I can see maybe in like blended family situations, like it could be a little difficult. And even like because I'm a bonus mom, and so when my bonus baby is here, I treat her just like the rest of my kids. Boo, you gonna get talked to and you gonna get checked just like everybody else.
Mhm.
But it's always a respectful manner. And I even told my husband, I said the last thing I'm not gonna do, I might whoop my kids if I need to, but I'm not gonna do that with her. That's for my husband, to check. So I have boundaries, but I will verbally check her just like I verbally check my kids when
Mhm.
necessary. They're siblings. They fight like siblings, and
Yeah.
she respects me. So I can see where it can get a little finicky in blended
Yeah.
family, especially from like a man perspective. You got to be able to handle another male presence around your child and
It ain't.
possibly disciplining.
Yeah,
So
I think it's ridiculous for a man to even be with a woman whose kids he can't discipline. That's crazy.